Welcome to another episode of Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. I'm Adam.
And I'm Paul.
I'm Jerry.
And today we are doing a shootout and smoking whatever the hell we want. So we're not really doing a review like we normally would. We'll get to all that in a minute. It's a great day to be starting up. It's the first Sunday of the football season. I've got my NFL Sunday ticket pumping over here. I think Paul's probably got his red zone going on over there. Jerry, you got some games going on your TV?
Yeah.
Little Tampa
minute
Bay.
left in the Jags game because of the 2-hour rain delay.
All right. Well, you know, nothing better to go along with some football than some whiskey. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Just like always, we're starting with our palate warmer. Top left, Jerry, what do you got?
Just some good old tried and true Wild Turkey 101.
It's always a good one. We all know about my affinity for Wild Turkey. And that doesn't change ever. Paul, what about you?
I'm sipping on a straight rye whiskey from J. Rieger. It's a sweet mash 96.4. Picked this bottle up a couple weeks ago and really liking it. I haven't had much stuff from J. Rieger before. I think they just got distribution, or at least the stores by me just started selling it. So I'm liking it.
I think someone sent me a sample for a Secret Santa one year. Thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, this is really good.
I don't know if I've ever had it or not, but if Paul likes it, I'd probably like it. If Jerry likes it, I'd probably like it. But the only time they like something that I don't is when it's an American single malt or single malt of any sort. Or as we were discussing earlier, IPAs, because it's like sucking on a pine tree's asshole. I don't like those. I went with old trusty Henry McKenna. I've had this bottle for a while. This is a 2013 vintage, so it is 12 years old. So that means I've had the bottle for 2 years. Been sipping on it lightly because for a long time, anybody that knows anything about whiskey knows that Henry McKenna was scarce. But I'm starting to see it on shelves a lot more around here. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm starting to see it, and it's back down to, I think, $69.99 is the cheapest. I think I might have seen it for $65 at one store. So at that price, it's worth it. I'd love to get back to the $40 good old days, but I don't think we're going to see that.
Well, I mean, I normally would agree with both of you. However, you know, I've been hearing rumblings that the pardon me, the bourbon bubble is going to burst, and you know, with it happening at the time when it is going to happen, right? There's a glut, and will be an even bigger glut of whiskey because distillers have been ramping up their production in anticipation of higher demand. You know, you got distilleries like Buffalo Trace that put out these huge expansions. You know, 13 new rick houses or something like that. I don't know. It was $33 million expansion project. Others ramping up their whiskey production that already had enough room, but just didn't have enough whiskey to meet demand. And now if people are moving on to clear spirits or, you know, hard seltzers or whatever, there's going to be a lot of whiskey sitting on shelves, and they may be bringing those prices down to try to sell the product when people don't want it. So we might see some of those hard to get bottles hanging around. I had a guy the other day at a liquor store offer me a Weller 12. Granted, he offered it to me for $150, and I laughed in his face. But he offered it to me just the same. And I can't remember the last time somebody offered me a Weller 12 outside of the state of Texas. I picked one up 2 years ago in Texas, and I picked it up for $90 and brought it back up here. So we may start seeing them on the shelves, and hopefully so, because there's a lot of really good whiskey out there that we've not had access to, and Henry McKenna happens to be one of those. So I'm glad to see it back on shelves. I can go pick one up for around $60 at Total Wine right now. There's probably 2 rows. There was the last time I was there, and there was the time before that. And I don't go on specific days. It's not like I go when they put stuff out on the shelves or anything like that. So it would be nice to see those things coming back. But then again, there's plenty of good whiskey out there to be had. So, we're going to be talking about 4 of those today. One of them we'll be talking about is actually one of those that really ramped up their production. Holy cow. I have to go past the distillery whenever I go to my dad's house. And I remember when it was just the production facility and like 3 rick houses, and now there's, I don't even know how many.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So we'll get to that. But this Henry McKenna is still delicious. And a 10-year whiskey, bottled in bond. Kind of hard to beat even at $60. So glad it's back.
Yeah, $60 isn't bad compared to the 120 plus that it was sitting around there for a little bit, if you could even find it.
Yep. So that, like I said, that gives me hope.
Yeah.
And maybe it won't come back down to 45.
I don't know if prices will come
But
back down, but
different.
I feel they're going to start sitting on the shelves at a reasonable price, I think, whether it's $65,
Right.
$70. But I don't think we'll see the $45, $50 days anymore.
Maybe not. And the extra $15, you could justify that as inflation, because everything's more expensive now than it was 7 or 8 years ago. You know what I mean? So, at any rate, Jerry, I believe that you sent this first one out to us. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
So with this first one, we got a little theme. Who wants to tell the theme first? Or do you want to just kind of...
Yeah, why not?
So the theme is basically a Mizunara shootout. We got 3 different Mizunara finishes. This first one's going to be from RD1. This one's a little bit different than the rest of them because this one is Mizunara and French oak finish. But whatever. I like this bottle a lot, so we'll throw that in there. It starts as a 5-year-old bourbon. Their standard 70, 21, 9. Mature new oak. And then a French oak necklace is added, just like their French oak offering. But this one is finished for twice as long, they said. And then they blend it with a 7-year-old bourbon, 75 corn, 13 rye, and 12 malted barley, and an 8-year-old rye, 51 rye, 37 corn, 12 malted barley. If you know those mash bills, you probably could figure out where those come from, especially if you know where their 10-year Amberana finish whiskey came from. Definitely has a little bit of a nuttiness to their profile, but I'll leave that there. So they blend it all together, and then they added Mizunara staves to it for an undisclosed time until they think it's ready. This one's coming in at 102 proof. Like I said, age 5, 7, and 8 year. I think it was $70 this bottle was from the distillery, $69.99 if I remember correctly. So
That's not bad.
Yeah. See what you guys think about it. I fell in love with this when I went to the distillery this summer. Me and Barry definitely sat down and had a couple pours of it along with the other guys I was with. Became a big fan of it. It's starting to hit shelves around me. I think Total Wine and a local store both have them on the shelves for that $69. So excited to see that.
This, for me, this nose is very weird. Kind of caught me off guard. The only note I can think of from the nose is sourdough bread, because it caught me, and I was like, I just trying to coat the glass to make sure it's not my glass, but I'm getting like a sour note. It's not a bad note, but it's like a bready, like a sourdough bready note off the nose. nothing
Definitely
like
get
that.
that breadiness.
Yeah, going down on the palate is completely different. I mean, again, there's baking spices big time. There's a sweetness to it. Kind of, it starts off like woody baking spice oak, and then I get a little bit of like a hint of like a chocolate cherry or something, like a chocolate covered piece of like red fruit or something like that on the end, and that's kind of what it finishes for me. It's like that sweet, like red fruit, whether it's like a cherry or raspberry or something like that. Very, very good, but the nose kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, see, I'm getting the opposite. I'm getting a sweet nose somehow, and the sweetness is on the tip of my tongue. I definitely get like a chocolate covered cherry, but at the same time, I get a chocolate covered almond. Um, and I dig that very much. I'm a very big fan of almonds. I don't know why I'm picking that up. It might be the cigar. And just to run it back real quick for anybody that isn't aware, Mizunara is a Japanese oak. So I just want to throw that out there in case somebody is hearing our voice and doesn't know, because I do know there's some folks that I know personally that listen, and they may not know as much about whiskey as we do. So I'll just go ahead and throw that out there so that they can go do some homework on that.
And if I remember correctly, the tree has to grow like 300 years before it could be harvested for barrels.
Yeah, so I looked this up today because I was I remember hearing things about it, so I looked it up. So Japan has laws set in place of how much Mizunara trees can be harvested each year. That's why it makes it the rarest wood in the world, essentially. Yeah. And they're typically harvested when their age of the trees are between 200 and 500 years old, which once again makes it super rare. And these trees are cool looking trees. They're not like, American oaks. They're, they kind of branch out all over the place, but they can grow as high as 115 feet high. And the wood is prized for, or, sought after because it's much less tannins in it than American oak. But barrels are stupid expensive. So having the price of $70 for, just looking at the ones we're going to get in today, all of them are, Jerry showed a picture of the tree. It looks almost like a kind of like a mini bonsai tree, but it's 100 feet tall. It kind of branches out all over the place. But I was just saying that for Mizunara finished for $70, that's really surprising to see it that cheap. And looking at the other ones we're going to get into, are all right around $100, which still is not, that expensive. I've seen some other Mizunara finishes on the market for way over that. So.
And we'll get into that too. But yeah, especially for RD1 who sources all their whiskey, you got a 5-year basically from who are they getting it from? Green River or Western Distiller, wherever their Jacob Call is distilling now. And then you have a 7 and 8 year old bourbon and a rye sourced from a big name company. Pretty sure it's Beam. So you're sourcing 3 different whiskeys, and you got the Mizunara and French oak, and you're still keeping it at $70. I think it's a fantastic deal.
Yeah, I think the sweet that I'm picking up is probably from the French oak.
Yeah.
It's just a really good whiskey. Then again, I've not had any whiskey from RD1 that I didn't like, and that's not, that's not bias. I am biased because Barry and I have several connections outside of bourbon, and he's just a good dude. That being said, their whiskeys are fantastic, and when we went there a few years ago with Mike and Jay and everybody, that was easily one of my favorite experiences. That was the only one that we went to that had food pairings and things like that went along with the whiskey, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah,
so
it was probably the most
really
simple experience that we had of those 2 between Lexington and Louisville that we did in 2 years. The simplest, sit at a table, a couple whiskeys, a couple little snacks to go with it. But it was probably the coolest one, getting to pair it up with some cookies and nuts and cherries and this and that.
Chocolate.
So
now the French oak with the chocolate was
fantastic.
probably, I mean, that was probably the best one. Is dark chocolate and French oak, and just the way to go.
So for me, on the nose for this one, which I don't know the percentage of the different whiskeys. It doesn't tell you, but I was getting like a rye spice with that breadiness and a little bit of like a dark fruit. And then the palate is more the same of what the guys were saying. Chocolate. I got a little tobacco in there, and then like a French oak spice. So basically like the baking spices, and then that little. I was getting like a dried fruit. Didn't know what kind, but cherry match as it could. I don't know, something along those lines. And then with this cigar that I'm smoking, Mizunara typically has like a sandalwood style, like typical note on it. And with this cigar, it pulls out all those sandalwood and almost sawdust notes from it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really like this with the cigar because the sandalwood
it comes out a lot.
It comes out a lot, and I'm not really a big fan of sandalwood as a tasting note. That's why I don't really flock to Mizunara finishes. But this one didn't have it until I went straight from the cigar to it.
I think that French oak influence kind of helps us dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, and I do have the blends. So the 5 years is 70, 21, 9. The 7 years is 75, 13, 12. And the 8-year rye is 51, 37, 12. So it's a low rye. But I still do get that rye on the palate, like you said, even though that rye is a low rye. Now, you said this was the Sister Cities expression.
Yes.
All I could find, I don't know if you guys know more about it, but all I could find is that Lexington, Kentucky shares Sister Cities relationships with Shinhidaka, Japan, and Douville, France. And that's why they use French oak and Mizunara to bring it together with an American style bourbon and rye. So do you know what the Sister Cities thing is?
Yeah, so a lot of places have, what they would call a sister city in another country, and it's exactly what you just said. So there's a city in Japan and a city in France, so they get the Mizunara from Japan. They get the French oak from France. And then the company is here in Lexington. And it's pretty much exactly what you just said.
Yeah, it's a good one, though. I really like this one. It's going to be hard to beat because, like I said, it's light on that Mizunara, that influence, that sandalwood note that I don't particularly enjoy. I didn't get it, like I said, until the cigar. So,
and overall, on the nose and the palate, there's a nice, like, velvety, buttery nose and mouthfeel, which is I love.
Agreed.
So that one's fantastic. I love that one.
Really good. That cherry, it's definitely cherry for me now. That finish, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not picking up any sandalwood, but it's probably because of my cigar. Now, without telling my cigar, because we're not there just yet, I'll tell you it's a Maduro. And so I think that's probably the stronger tones in the cigar itself are probably helping to mask some of that sandalwood note that I probably wouldn't like either. So thank goodness for that. But I'm poured up for the second one. So you guys ready to move on?
So this one, the three of us joined a virtual tasting with Taconic Distillery and the Prime Barrel, and we all saved a little bit of it so we could kind of do this little shootout. This next one is from Taconic Distilleries, their Mizunara cask, straight bourbon whiskey, 107 proof, mash bill, 70 corn, 25 rye, 5 malted barley. The website says it's about 5 years. From what I've read, it's aged about 4.5 years, and then finished for an extra 6 months or so. I don't know if that's how they get their 5 years, or if it's 5 years plus the finish. This one is definitely up there in price. I don't know if you guys looked at it, but this one is $120 off their website.
I know. I did not look.
$120 off the website, which, knowing what Mizunara wood is and how pricey it is, doesn't seem too bad. But then there's like the first one and the third one that we'll get into that are sub $100. So yeah, so it's kind of, we got a $70 one, $85, $90 one, and this $120. So we have kind of a 3 different price range to kind of see. Other than that, I don't really have too much on it. Their website didn't have too much information on this one. It is I want to say obviously it's a limited release with this Mizunara.
We do have to say before the price.
Yeah,
this is aged in Mizunara casks, where RD1 just had staves in the, I guess the French oak cask or something like that. Because they use French oak necklaces, I think, and then
they got like little cubes and the necklace, dip it in, and they, from what it sounds like, they dump it all and then blend it together with the bourbon and the rye, and then they put it back into the barrels and then throw staves in them. I'm guessing kind of like a Maker's Mark stave sort of deal.
Yeah. So this one is most likely going to have.
Yeah, this one's in the cask itself.
Yeah.
But I tried this. Obviously, when it came in, and after having had the RD1, I mean, this is good. This is really, really good. Get some chocolate notes, some oak, a little bit of sweetness, things like that. But I like the RD1 more. Yeah, personally,
I'm with you on that one.
It's and especially once you hear the price point, the price difference between the two, I got to go with the RD1 all day.
Yeah, I agree. Because I really just going back to that fruity note that is on the finish of that RD1 is the winner for me so far as well. This one is more get grainy, oaky. I mean, it's delicious. Don't get me wrong, but there's no fruit notes on it. The closest I get to a fruit is like picking up like a hint of like raisin, maybe.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Which
I really like, but it's more like raisin, vanilla, bacon spice. There's no hints of fruit on this one at all.
You get a tiny bit of honey, just the slightest bit, but not like natural honey, like the teddy bear honey, the manufactured honey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I get a little bit more of the sandalwood note on the nose on this one. A little bit more of that woody sawdust style. Yeah, it's not, I don't want to say it's like a grainy nose, but yeah, it has like more of like the corn and grain forward notes on it. The mouthfeel, again, I don't know if it's the Mizunara cask, because it's, of all the ones from Mizunara finishes I've had, they all have these crazy mouthfeels. So I don't know if it could be chalked up to that, but again, this one has a nice full mouth, buttery mouthfeel to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some more, oily qualities to the Mizunara wood, and I don't have any scientific basis to say that, other than to say that out of the 2 that we've had, they are of a more oily consistency. It does coat your mouth. It does feel like that could be possible. I guess we'll find out when we drink these other 2.
There's a lot more spice on this one than the RD1. Yeah. Which is very surprising, especially knowing the RD1 has French oak on it. For me, French oak, I get a lot of, they're sweeter notes, but there are a lot of like baking spices, like the cinnamon, the nutmegs, and all that stuff. But they're more of like a rounded, sweeter profile. This one just has a lot of, almost like a black pepper, red pepper, like bite on the tongue. It's good. If it wasn't $120, I'd probably, if it was closer to that $70, $80 price range, I might grab a bottle, but a $120 kind of pushes it out there. but it does taste really good. And again, with the cigar, those sandalwood, woody notes come out a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting pain. Didn't really get the sandalwood note until the cigar, which kind of surprised me. I thought this when we decided we were going to do Mizunara, 4 pours of Mizunara, I was like, great, here we go. And this sandalwood note that I don't really care for is going to be all day, but I'm only picking it up on these first two after I go straight from the cigar to the whiskey. So I like that because I like both of these whiskeys. So
yeah,
interested to see what the next one brings.
Well, I'm already poured up, so
you guys are ready. We can
find out.
go into this one. So this one I thought I've had for a lot longer, but apparently it came out last year, April of last year. This is the Barrel Bourbon Cask Finish Series, the Mizunara. 6 years, 116.42 proof. Derived mash bill of 76 corn, 20 rye, 4 malted barley. And it's a blend of 6, 7, and 9-year-old Indiana bourbon, 8-year-old Kentucky, and 8 and 14-year-old Tennessee. Don't have the percentages on that, but this one was $85, I believe their cask finishes go for, and I believe they are using full casks as well. I could be wrong though.
Well, right off the bat, the nose is just wow. There's I had to blow in there to kind of help disperse some of the ethanol. Just plowed right into me. It's got a great nose. There's lots of things going on in there, but it sends my nose hairs.
Yeah, for me, it's a lot of the baking spices again. There's a cherry or like apricot or dried fruity note in there, and then I'm picking up like a mint tea.
Yeah, no, I wrote down apricot while Adam was talking, so that's something I don't normally get on the nose. I can't tell you last
Not
time
unless it's a finish.
Yeah,
like a wine finish or something.
Yeah, but yeah, getting like a little bit of black cherry on the nose as well. But there's definitely that like honey, oak, sandalwood kind of.
Yeah,
those notes keep coming up for all three of these. So I'm thinking that honey and that sandalwood is probably from these Mizunara casks.
There's a ton of tea on the palate, just a ton for me.
Yeah.
Tea. Some more of the baking spices, the cinnamon, nutmeg.
Brown sugar.
Yep. Little towards the end, there's a little bit of that sandalwood woodiness, sawdust note. Nice buttery aspect to it.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yep.
Yes. Oak. I get the oak. There's a hint of like a dark berry in there. There's honey, pepper. It's peppery. I mean, it drinks 115. I think that's what you said it is. It definitely no mistaking it for a lower proof. But there's like this the finish. I'm getting maybe a toffee or a butterscotch note. It's like a kind of like a burnt sugar type of note, but really good, really good. I like this one. I think it's going to be hard. This one is giving the RD1 a run for its money right now, I think.
So was it yesterday or day before? I put these in a blind together just to kind of see. And I was honestly quite surprised by how it came out for me.
You have to let us know once we all vote. Let us know what you came up with in the blind and see if it differs, knowing what they are. Yeah, this one is very good. I really like this one. Well, how much did you say this was? $85, $90?
85. I think I picked it up for like $85. On their website, they don't have this on their website. Like I said, it came out. I think it was April of last year, but they have their what was the newest one, ice wine finish or something like that, on the website for 85, and the store I get a lot of the barrel expressions from. They stick to retail for stuff like this. Obviously, some of the allocated stuff is a little bit different. They got different ways to little rewards programs and stuff like that, but stuff like this stays at retail, give or take, and picked it up probably $85, $90.
That's a buy for me, definitely. If I see that bottle, I'm going to grab it. That's really good.
For sure. And with this cigar, I'm picking up some coffee notes in there too, which I'm really enjoying. I didn't get that on the other two. So it switches from and when I say switches, I mean I still get the tea up front, hit the cigar, rolls right on into coffee, which is interesting, but very enjoyable.
Yeah, 100%. I just went from the cigar to the whiskey while you were saying that, and you probably put it in my head, but it's like 100% coffee going from the cigar to.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that changes it up so much.
Okay.
Good one.
Yeah, for me with the cigar, I don't get as much of that sandalwood note as the other ones with the cigar.
Mm-mm.
A little bit fruitier, a little bit darker. Yeah, that goes really well with this cigar.
Now, I just got to say, just because I kind of trashed the nose on the RD1, going back to it now where I still have some left, the nose for me now is milk chocolate. It's like a Hershey's bar. So letting it sit out for me completely changed it from sourdough bread to milk chocolate, which is just let it breathe.
Yeah.
You know what that kind of sounds like to me is a Whopper.
Yeah. A little maltiness in there with the chocolate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like I just went back to it. Yeah, same thing. A little bit of that chocolate's in there. A little bit more fruitiness is coming out.
So good. Well, all three of these have been pretty damn good. I think I know my order.
I know my order. Are we including the TPOM
I think
on
we
it?
should.
On the order?
Should.
Yeah.
You want to
Okay, so
let's talk about our
cigar.
Yeah, I was going to say talk about our cigars first, then pour up the TPOM, and then we could do like a final rating sort of deal.
Sure. All right. Well, who wants to go first with their cigar?
I can. I'm smoking the Maria Mancini. It's a JR cigar special. I want to say you can get a 5-pack of these cigars for like $25 or $28. So price performer, definitely. It's Maduro, Adam's favorite style box press. It's spicy, peppery for the most part. Some earthy notes in there, and a little bit of nuttiness too. It's pairing well with these whiskeys, though, as we've been talking about, bringing out a little bit of that sandalwood note that I don't really care for. But surprisingly, all three of these, I didn't pick up that sandalwood note until I went from the cigar to it. So it's probably that darker, peppery note in the cigar that's bringing that forward, I guess. But these are great cigars. Always something to have in the humidor. Just grab it and go for under $5 a cigar. It's a good one.
I went with, I don't remember if we had this one on the show or not yet, but I went with the JC Newman Angel Cuesta. It's an Ecuadorian Havana Rosado wrapper with a binder and filler of what they say is aged tobaccos from 3 different continents. So undisclosed binders and fillers. It's a nice medium body or medium strength cigar with like a full body profile, like flavor profile and everything to it. A little bit more of, I've honestly picked this one because I was trying to figure out something that would actually, as much as I'm not that big of a fan, I kind of wanted to pull out some of those sandalwood or woody notes from these just to kind of see the difference. which is the reason why I kind of went with a little milder cigar. But there's some nice earthiness from those aged tobaccos. A little bit of like floralness the first third, which was really nice to go with that RD1 with a little bit of that those cherry notes and chocolate notes in that one, or whatever else we had in there. Getting about halfway through it right now. The spice is starting to pick up on it. The burn line is a little wavy, but it's on. It's windy as hell here today. We have a storm downtown that put like an hour and a half, 2 hour delay on the Jags game. So the wind is picking up down here. We haven't seen any rain. Had to relight it once just because I kind of neglected it. Nothing about the cigar, but yeah, it's going fantastic with all these. Like I said, the RD1 and the Taconic pulled out more of those sandalwood notes with the barrel. It pulled out more of like a dark, like toffee style note in it. It kind of muted the sandalwood woody notes that I was getting on it at first. So it was a nice little contrast. But yeah, it's a fantastic cigar. I cannot tell you how much I paid for it. I know Bobby was gracious enough to send us one of these in the pack that he sent us when he was on the show, and then when me and Paul were at the factory, I picked up another one. I can't remember how much it was.
I want to say they were right around 20 at the factory, because I do know that I went to a cigar bar, a rooftop cigar bar in Ybor City that night, and I think I paid $28 for this one at the cigar bar, but it had obviously cigar bar prices, because I smoked this one on their rooftop deck, listening to some live music. It was a nice little spot. I can't for the life of me think of the name of the cigar bar, but it's, I think, the only rooftop cigar bar in Ybor City, and I highly recommend that place. It was nice.
Yeah, what is it? twoguyscigars.com has it for 20 and change for the double Robusto, and 21 for the Toro, which is, I think, the one I actually grabbed. So about $20 for it. Definitely worth it. Fantastic cigar. And he's back.
All right, so I went with actually two things that you guys mentioned. Both of you mentioned. So my cigar is box pressed. It is from J.C. Newman. It is the Perla Del Mar Maduro. So yeah, Paul's right. I hate a box press cigar, but just for the shape. I hate the shape of a box press cigar. But that goes, also to say that you can't gripe about something that was free. And Mr. Newman was kind enough to send this to us. So I don't know what the cost of these are. I know they're not real expensive, but they sure do smoke and taste expensive. This is a Ecuador, Connecticut wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. And then there's the website here that I'm looking at, jcnewman.com. There's some ratings. Cigar Aficionado rated this at a 90. Cigar and Spirits gave it a 91. Cigar Insider gave it a 90, and Cigar Snob gave it a 91. These are great. These are he sent us a pack of 5. Excuse me. And every one of them has been incredible. And that's not to say that he only sent us a pack of 5 cigars. He sent us actually 2 different shipments of cigars. He sent us some to have while he was on the show with us, and then we were like, "Oh, we've never had those, and we're gonna have to try those and those." And he's like, "Oh, well, give me your, we'll send you some more."
Yeah.
So they did.
I think it was like 12 or 13 overall.
Yeah, absolutely the most generous and gracious guest that we've had on this show, and just a very kind individual. And every one of these cigars is incredible. These guys are great. And it even, in the description on the website says it's a Perla Del Mar is a historic cigar brand that traces its roots to Cuba. Gives a nice long story about Perla Del Mar. But these cigars are incredible. If you see them highly recommended. Highly recommend that you pick them up, especially the Maduros. I love full flavor anything. So, barrel proof whiskey, rare steak, black coffee, um, full flavor Maduro cigars, those types of things are always right up my alley. And I don't always pair a Maduro cigar with a full flavored or a full proof whiskey, just because they can often conflict with one another. I find that dichotomy um, of barrel proof whiskey with a lighter cigar or vice versa actually works quite well. But I think that my choice to smoke this Maduro today, um, despite Paul's experience, who's also smoking Maduro, actually helped to tone down some of those sandalwood notes that he was talking about, which I'm glad for, because while I do enjoy oak notes whenever I drink whiskey, I do not necessarily enjoy sandalwood notes. I don't want to have an experience where I feel like I'm chewing on wood. Um, just like if I were to drink an Elijah Craig 18 or a 23, that's too damn much oak. You know what I mean? So, but I think this worked really well, and these cigars are fantastic, box pressed or not. So pick those up if you see them.
Yeah, I think those PDMs are like $10, give or take, $9-10.
Yeah, they're not much, and they're well worth the money for sure. So, but you guys ready to move on to this pours on me?
Absolutely.
Yes. This one is a special one. I grabbed it the other month when I was in Kentucky. It comes in a nice little box, as you can see on the video. This one is the Bardstown Bourbon Company Hokkaido, I think is how you say it.
Can I see that? Can I see that box again?
The Mizunara oak barrel finish.
So, for the folks that are listening on podcast, go look at it on the YouTube channel. That box looks like every windbreaker that was ever produced in the 1990s.
Yeah, you got some like wood grain in there. You got some carpet little thing looking like there's a bunch of things going on with the box. It's a cool little box.
That is a pair of high top Reebok pumps that I had in 1992.
But yeah, there's Bardstown Bourbon Company Hokkaido Mizunara oak finish, blend of straight whiskeys finished for 28 months in Japanese Mizunara oak barrels. This one's 109.3 proof. I got a little infograph here so we can look at the mash bills. You got 47% Kentucky, 15 year, 75, 13, 12. You got 33% 14 year Kentucky at 78, 10, 4. Then you got a 9 year Indiana, 45, 51, 4. So you got a little bit of Indiana rye, and then you got 18 year, 84, 88 from Tennessee in there. And this one is $100 for this 375. It was a pricey bitch, but it is fantastic. I was at Bardstown for a barrel pick with our local Jacksonville Bourbon Whiskey Society. It just so happens it was the same day that they released this bottle. So we got in line to pick up this bottle as we were waiting for our time for the barrel pick. Picked it up, did the tour, had lunch and everything. And at lunch, I think we all had 2 or 3 different pours of this. And then we did the barrel pick, then lunch, and then had some pours of it. Fantastic day. Bardstown is an amazing campus. Never been there. Definitely check it out if you're in the area. Awesome place. Just the food was fantastic. The pours, whether it's something like this or even their standard, what do they call them? The Origin series, which go for like $45-50. All fantastic, whichever one you have. And cool campus. You can kind of just sit and chill. They got a nice little fire pit area that you can lounge at. Definitely not going to do that in the middle of summer. But once it starts cooling down, that would be a cool place to kind of sit, cigar, have a pour right around the fire pit out there. But yeah, I figured I'd send this out, see what these guys think about it. And then we'll put it up against the other three and see what one comes out first.
So I haven't tasted it yet, but right off the bat, there's something I caught on the nose that I know Paul would appreciate if he got it as well. So I want to see what Paul got on the nose to see if he picked up what I picked up.
I just get tons of sweet notes on the nose for me. Brown sugar, honey, maple syrup, maybe. Almost get like a bready note, almost like a beer note too. But yeah, just tons of sweetness on the nose. What are you picking up?
I got butterscotch.
I mean, that kind of goes in line with all the sweet notes. I mean, I've tasted it, and it just follows through with, just think of any sweet note that you can think of, and it's there. I mean, brown sugar, I'm getting like a toasted marshmallow. It's like a s'mores without chocolate. Because I get some graham cracker, baking spices. I mean, like any typical sweet note that you can think of is in this whiskey.
That is so. Let's get specific with it. That's not a toasted marshmallow on a graham cracker. That is a burnt marshmallow on a graham cracker.
Yeah, it's like a s'mores with no chocolate, because I don't get any chocolate notes.
Yeah, there's no chocolate. No. There's no chocolate, like you said. It's a burned marshmallow, like it's a burned marshmallow on a graham cracker. That's what I'm getting. But on the nose, just butterscotch hit me in the face immediately. That is a tasty drink right there, guys. I mean, if I'm at the, to kind of play off of another podcast that we used to listen to, context, experience, that kind of thing. If I'm at the distillery, I've had a chance to try it, I see it there for purchase. Am I going to buy it for $100? Probably. If I see this at the store for $100 and a $3.75, probably not. Not if I haven't had a chance to try it. Since I've got some sitting in front of me and I've tasted it, if I were to see it in a store up here, or if I were to go to the distillery, this is the distillery I was talking about earlier that I have to pass on the way back home to my dad's house. That's just grown exponentially over the past 2 or 3 years. I might even stop in there just to see if they've got one. That's damn good. And $100 for a $3.75, a lot of people think is too damn much, but sometimes it can be. I wouldn't say that it is so much with this one. This one's, I think that's a good price point, actually, given what you're getting in the bottle. You're not going to go through it. It's not something you're going to sit down and just kill the whole bottle, even with it being a $3.75. But it is tasty, and all those notes that Paul just mentioned are there. I agree, and it matches perfectly with the cigar, which is what I was hoping for. So, my list, without giving too much away, has just changed. But I've got my list. I'm ready to go. So, Jerry, tell us about your notes, and you're the one that picked this up. So, what you got?
Real quick with this Bardstown, I was getting the same notes as you guys. The main thing that I got on the palate and the nose, that toasted marshmallow and like maple. I don't know if it's maple syrup, maple candy, but those were obviously there's the other notes in there, but those are the two main ones off them. I didn't throw this one in the blind. I just did the other three in the blind. But for me, the first sample that the barrel came third for me. It just all those like the baking spices, the heavy spice, the red pepper spice, black pepper spice, kind of was hitting the tongue a little bit weird compared to the other two. There's a lot more spice on that barrel versus the other two, which is why I edged out the Taconic. I didn't get as much of those, even though those spicy notes are there, not as much as the barrel. And I got a little bit less of that sandalwood note. That RD1 was
hands down my favorite in this blind. And I was hoping it was, but I honestly thought it would go barrel RD1 Taconic when I was trying it, just because that RD1 was so silky, velvety smooth. For some reason, I was thinking that I thought the Taconic was a little bit higher proof than the 107. I think it is. Yeah, 107. I didn't look at it when I was doing it. I thought it was a little bit higher. I thought it was closer to 120. So I thought that extra proof was helping it round it out. But no, it was RD1 came first, just with those nice notes and everything, and then Taconic, then in the barrel. But this Bardstown, it's fucking fantastic. If you want a nice, lighter, sweeter pour, go for the RD1. If you want a nice, bold, sit down and dissect a pour, then you're going to want to go with this Bardstown.
Yep.
What about you?
Well, let's go ahead and reveal our lists. You guys ready for that?
Yep. I just have to throw one thing out there. For me, I'm never going to smoke a cigar with a Mizunara finished bourbon again. I did not like any of the four from going from the cigar to the pour. It's much better on its own. I don't know. Just for me, it didn't hit today with the cigar. So I'd much rather drink all four of these pours by themselves.
I'm there with you. And like I said, I picked this cigar specifically being a little bit milder to pull out those woody notes of these. And as much as it was fun doing, I would never do it again.
Well, maybe you guys need to try it with this Perla Del Mar Maduro.
Maybe it is the cigar. So
maybe it's the exception to the rule. Who knows? So, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and reveal our lists, guys. I'll go ahead and start because I got mine right here in front of me. So, earlier I said that I had no bias towards RD1, and that continues. That bluegrass barrel, like I said, that completely changed my list. There's just a lot going on there. I love when I can pick out s'mores components in a bourbon. I love it. I love s'mores. They're delicious. And this time of year, it's starting to be 40 something at night. 70 to 80s during the day, at least where I am, and Paul's about the same longitude as I am, so it's about the same for him. Jerry's a little farther south than we are. I'm sure it's similar, but not quite the same. No, Jerry's shaking his head no, so not similar at all. Okay, cool.
Up until today, the last couple of days, let's see, I had to work. We had Adam Sandler at my work on Friday, and I had to work the show. And when I left the arena, I think it was like 85 degrees.
Oh, well.
At
that
like
sucks.
But now, I don't know what temp is now. What's my phone saying? It's saying it's 80, but we have overcast. I do not see the sun, and we have trees whipping around. My phone says it feels like 83, but honestly, it probably feels closer to 73 now.
Well,
if it could feel like this every day, I'd be happy.
I keep our thermostat at around 68 degrees because I'm just hot all the time. And my wife and I, our bed is downstairs. Our bedroom is downstairs, where there's at least a 15-degree difference between the downstairs and the upstairs. And our bed sits right below 3 AC vents. And still I manage to sweat through the sheets. I'm just hot constantly. So it's been cool enough here during the early mornings into early afternoon that the AC doesn't even kick on because it just stays cool in the house. It's been that way for about a week or so now. Next week this week about Wednesday is supposed to get back up into the mid 80s for the high, but that's pretty much it. That being said, back to what I was saying, the s'mores component. I love picking that out. It's great. It's fantastic, especially when you add the cigar and that adds to the smoky, burnt qualities of the marshmallow. That kind of thing. So The bluegrass that really did it. Barrel came in second for me, and only just barely edged out by the BBC. So much so that I had poured a second little bit of the barrel here, only because I have more of that than I do the BBC. Right behind that is RD1, because it kind of got me started on all this today, and it's just got a great flavor, a great mouthfeel, great nose, great legs on it, just fantastic all around. And then the Taconic rounding out my list. I like the Taconic. It was really good. Um, there's something there that puts it behind all the rest of them for me, with or without the cigar. Um, and this is in no way meant to be taken as Taconic is bad, BBC is good, or any permutation thereof. It's just, this is the list as I see it, but every single one of these is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I think the Taconic for me, the reason it took last is the price point considered next to the rest of these, and the ethanol on the nose, because it wasn't the highest proof, but it had the highest ethanol on the nose for me, which is not always bad, but definitely not always good. So that's my list. That's how I see it. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. I think the Bardstown is top my list. I think that one's a pretty special pour. It's all over the map, just sweet candy pour. I mean, I really like that. Second and third for me are very close, but I think you went barrel, then RD1. I think I'm the same. It's like more of a 2A, 2B for me, because they're both fantastic in their own right. I think the barrel just a touch better for me, for my palate, and then the Taconic same rounds it out. All four fantastic pours though, but I think it's BBC, barrel, RD1, Taconic for me.
Yeah, mine's a little bit different. I tend to go for more of a sweeter profile than definitely Adam. Adam likes more of that heavy bourbon. Paul's all over the place. It's kind of hard to pick him out. I as much as I love a nice spicy, if I'm going to do like a spicy bourbon or something, I'd rather just go for a nice spicy rye. It's just me. So for me, it's Bardstown, RD1. And then the barrel and Taconic are kind of neck and neck. For me, just that barrel had more of a, I don't know if it's the proof or extra whatever, but there was a little bit more of a spiciness to it, a little bit of astringent with the rest of it. So it kind of nudged out the Taconic kind of nudged that out. But that was in the blind. Going back to price point, I think the barrel jumps it, being $80-$90 versus the 120. So I think final, knowing everything with prices and everything, barrel or Bardstown, RD1, barrel, Taconic. That being said, I don't think you could find that barrel anymore. If you do, I would definitely snag it up. It was last year's release, and it was fantastic. Just that the spice, I don't remember getting all those spicy notes off it before. I don't know if it's just because that RD1 is so sweet compared to it. But yeah, I would.
Now, Jerry, you are the you are the BBB resident Weeder fan,
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to hear you say that. As far as bourbons go, I mean, we're all three of us here fans of rye, and the higher the rye, the bigger the fan, obviously. But Paul and I tend to lean into the rye mash bill bourbons, for the rye content, the spiciness, the floral notes that come through on that kind of thing. So I'm not surprised to hear you say, you know, not that there's. I'm a big fan of weeders too, but
not saying I don't like a high rye, whether it's
right. But you'd rather have a weeder if you had your pick.
Oh yeah.
So
like, don't get me wrong. The what is it? The Four Roses 36% rye, the MGP 36% rye. I love those, but at the same point, might as well just bump that up 20, 30 rye points and just make it a rye. And
I mean, well, then it's not a bourbon at that point, right? So, but yeah, Jerry's our, Jerry's going to have to do a show. Now that we're doing this on YouTube, Jerry's going to have to do a show from his bar so that you can see his massive Maker's Mark collection.
I've switched. I've been doing some remodeling in that bar. I'll have to bring you guys in there one day and show it around. But yeah, there's a wall of Makers. There's which I know these two guys aren't a big weeder fan, and then a half a wall of Chattanooga, which I know these guys aren't the biggest fans of, but.
Not a huge fan of Chat, but I don't mind the weeders now. So I mean, the folks can see right behind me. There's some Weller sitting right behind me. You know, I got a Maker sitting right here next to me. It really depends on the Makers.
Chattanooga makes sense for you. You don't like the multi profile.
I like that one,
but there's some that they make that don't have the multi profile that are actually pretty good.
Oh, is that the pre-prohibition?
This one.
Damn, you put some damage on that one.
This is one of the 5 or 6 bottles I have out here in the podcast shed. So every time I'm out here, I've had a lot of fantasy drafts for the last 2 weeks. So this is a great.
Paul has been doing some remodeling out there in the podcast shed too. I can see a nice black sheet behind him.
I need to get a logo or something back there.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking for back here, so you can get away from the siding, get something back there.
Yeah, but all these fantasy football drafts, I've been hitting this. This has been a go-to. This Chat pre-prohibition style experimental single batch has been right there in arm's reach. So that's put a dent in that bottle in the last week or so.
Yeah, it's funny. A friend of mine, he came over. First time we'd seen each other in quite a while, and we're out here in the bar having some drinks, and he's like, "Do you guys do your podcast on YouTube?" And this was before we had talked about using this Restream app. You know, Jerry and I used a couple others for a different podcast, and that didn't work out quite so well. But at any rate, he's like, this bar would be great for, video podcasting and all this. And so today I was coming down here and I was like, I'm going to get set up, and I was going to be sitting on the other side of my bar so that I could, I got Sunday ticket today so I could watch my football games. And I was like, nope, I can't do that. I need to sit facing this direction so that it actually looks halfway decent, because on that side it's just my fucking garage that's all fucked up. It's just
that's the reason why the back porch I didn't mount, because originally I was thinking about mounting the TV up here. I was like, I'd have to sit over there, which isn't a big deal. But we got a TV, and I got one of those. Well, it's a newer version, but it's like the old school with the wheels on it. They can move around. I'm like, it's perfect. Now we can bring it inside if like during football season, hockey season, baseball season.
There you go.
Put it in there, have a couple different games going on inside.
What you ought to do, Jerry, is reach out to our friend Randy Sherlin and have him make a barrel head for you with our logo on it, like you did for me, and mount that bad boy right behind you. And that new logo that you just created the other day, which you guys are going to start seeing on our videos. That's going to be our video stamp. It looks really cool. Jerry just came up with it the other day. Got bored at work and put it together. It's really, really awesome. And then I want to get one with that little the neon sign characters that you made of us. I really like that. That's really awesome. So we're really trying to take it to the next level. Jerry's doing a lot of work here lately, and
I'll be honest with you, that neon silhouette or whatever you want to call it, that one came from ChatGPT.
Yeah. Well,
I went on, and
so did our current logo. The very first logo came from that. Yeah.
I went on your Facebook and Instagram and grabbed a couple pictures of you. Paul, I had to take some screenshots from videos that we've done because he's not on social too much other than trying to win some giveaways. And then obviously I got pictures of myself and just like, let's throw it in ChatGPT and see what comes up. And went down a rabbit hole. And
Paul's actually on social more than we are in one aspect. The man has 4 different Instagram accounts, but he doesn't really fuck with them too much, and he doesn't do anything on Facebook. So
it's all for giveaway. It's all for giveaway. All for giveaway. I'm gonna tag 3 people.
Good stuff. So, Jerry, Paul and I were talking to somebody the other night during the blue collar Facebook draft, or I'm sorry, not Facebook draft, football draft. Goodness gracious. And is Mitten Sipper, and his daughter is in the Coast Guard, and just kind of dawned on me that we had never had the perspective of a parent of someone that's in the military, come on and talk about their experience from that perspective. So I thought that maybe we could get him. I'm sure we could get Wayne. I'm sure Wayne would come on here in a heartbeat. Wayne's got a son in the Army and the Marine Corps. We got some of his perspective when we were at Nulu Distillery. He got into the sauce pretty hard and told he really got into that peach that night. He really got into that peach finish, and he was telling us all about it. And he's got a lot to say too. So I think that'd be a good perspective to have.
Or no, it was Mike because we sat at Nulu and we sat at their bar before our tour and had a couple pours. And I tried one of the ones that I tried that I was going to buy at the end of it was their peach brandy finish. So we did the tour. We got back sitting there. We all get pours. And I go, hey, do you have one of those peach finishes that I could buy? Because you could buy it from the bar. And a bartender said, yeah, let me just grab it real quick. And they're looking for it. They shout out to the other bartender, hey, where'd that peach go? And she goes, I just opened it. And pointed to Mike and said he just had a pour of it. And I look over, I go, fuck you, Mike. Because that was the last one they had, which was fine because I spent way too much money on that trip with bottles. But
Jerry was worried about whether or not he's going to be able to meet the weight requirement.
Mike and Jay had to send me bottles. Like my suitcase had, I think it was 8 or 9 bottles in it. My backpack was full of all my clothes, and
I know you had like 13 to 15 bottles to take back.
They still had to send me like 4 or 5 bottles.
That was a great trip. We had a good time. Paul, I wish you could have been there.
Yeah. That Airbnb was fantastic location.
It was. As Mike, the first thing the motherfucker did when we walked in, we figured out our rooms, and then Mike immediately walks into my room and picks up the remote that worked my ceiling fan and light.
All the fans and lights had little remotes to them.
And this motherfucker is turning my light on and turning it off, and I can't figure out what the fuck's going on. He's just loving it. The whole basement was finished. Had a sectional down there with the TV, had a very unbalanced shuffleboard. Shuffleboard. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Like a kitchen down there.
Yeah. And at one point, Mike and Tim and Jay are all like, "Well, we're gonna go to the strip club," and I was like, "I am not going to the strip club." That was
like 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm like,
yeah. Well, first, I was tired. I was drunk. Wayne we'd had to drop him off before we went back out because he was just going to go crash on the couch and then go back to Owensboro a day early. But I was not going. I was like, my wife will have my nuts in her purse for the rest of my life. I'm not going to the strip club. But it was a good time. It was a really good time. We need to get everybody together again and do that. I think what we ought to do, instead of going for distilleries, There are a lot of speakeasies in Louisville, hidden speakeasies, and passwords required, behind bookshelves, all that. And then there's some here in Lexington as well. What we should do is get all of us together and then do speakeasy tours. I think that'd be awesome. And then go check out that same bar that we went to that had the bowling pin and the guy that left his bottle of Blanton sitting on the bar while he went to the bathroom.
Bourbon bar.
Yeah. Paul, I don't know if we told you about that. This guy was talking to us, and he's like, "Yeah, I just bought this bottle of Blanton's." And he puts it back in the bag, and he leaves the bag sitting on the table.
You guys mind watching this real quick while I go take a piss?
Didn't know him from Adam, and this guy's just trusting as hell. Now, he's lucky that he trusted us because we didn't take off with his bottle. But some other asshole may have just grabbed it.
1990s Blanton's.
So he's lucky. I guess he knows. He and I think that guy ended up adding me on Facebook at some point, which was weird because I don't fucking know him. I talked to him for like 5 minutes. Anyway, it was a good trip. We need to make it happen again. But yeah, how did we get here from what I was talking about? Wayne and Mitten Sipper. We need to get those guys on. For those that are listening, towards the end of last season, we were doing a giveaway, an awesome bottle from 10th Mountain Distillery. Awesome bottle. A 130 count humidor and some awesome beard products from Lit Beard Co. And the requirements were give to the veterans charity of your choice. And each $5 increment of donation is a entry to win. And then all you have to do is send us the confirmation email that you receive from that charity that says you've donated this much, and then you get this many entries. We got and sharing the post. That was not a requirement. Okay, so we need you to listen or watch or whatever so that you hear the requirements. But we're gonna try that charity again. We've done a charity in the past, or a giveaway in the past, where we raised about $200. And $200 is great. That's $200 that we didn't that a veterans charities didn't have before that. We'd like to try to raise more. But we need folks to really pay attention to the requirements, so in that way we can make sure that those charities are receiving the funds that are necessary. So again, we'll announce that in the coming months.
Yeah, we got Veterans Day coming up, so that might be a good day to
it might be
start
I'd like to try to do it before, probably before mid-November, and then that way people aren't trying to compete with funds that they're setting aside for Christmas, right? So we don't want to do that, or Hanukkah, or whatever your holiday may be, where you need to spend money. We don't want to, and Thanksgiving as well. That's at the end of November, so mid-November would be the cutoff, if ideally at least. But that's going to be the requirement. You donate, every $5 increment is going to earn you another entry. And then we'll announce the winner, and you're gonna you might spend $5 and win all three of these things. I know that the humidor was about $50. The bottle itself was probably about 85, something like that.
I think it was 80 or 85, yeah.
And then Paul, how much were the beard products from Lit?
I think that's got like $40, $50, because it's oil, I think a balm and a beard wash, I think is the kit.
Yeah, it was their Patriot bundle, if I recall. So yeah, probably $40.
You're looking at $150, close to $200 worth of goodies. And
it's some good stuff too. And two of the companies are veteran owned, right? So the humidor, unfortunately, I think might be a Chinese company. So overlook that, but it's a pretty good humidor.
Depending on how many donations we get, we might throw some cigars in there too. I know I have
think we can
plenty of
manage that.
cigars that I got enough to last me forever. Seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
so.
I'll gladly throw in some, like a massive bag of cigars for
And
part of the donation. But anything
maybe
that we
some
can do to raise
samples of whiskeys and whatnot, but that would all depend on how many donations we get.
Mhm.
So starting out, yeah, that humidor, that bottle, and that lip beard kit or whatever the little bundle they have. But like I said, you're looking at $175, $200 for that little thing, and you could win it for $5. I've seen it done. I've been watching a lot more YouTube lives and Instagram lives and whatnot, and a lot of giveaways where it's like, I'll donate $5 to the show or to the stream, and you could win a bottle or some cigars, whatever, and people are donating $5 and winning $80 bottles and $100+ cigar packages. So it can be done.
It can. It absolutely can.
If nothing else, at least you're helping out some charities.
Right.
Which, honestly, if nothing else, if you don't like our reviews or the whiskeys and cigars that we drink and smoke, or the beer, or if you don't have a beer, as long as you're donating and helping these charities out, I think that'll make me feel good. You could shit on us all day, but as long as we help some people out while we do it, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I really, anything that we can do positive to put back into the world, especially for those that have given their lives for us. And I really think it's important because I feel like there's a lot of anti-military negativity out there in the world, much like there was during the Vietnam War. It pisses me off. I mean, I'm just going to be honest about it. It pisses me the fuck off. You can like me or hate me for that. I really, if you hate me, I don't give a shit. But it pisses me off. You should be appreciative of these folks, and we are. So we're doing everything we can for these folks. So make sure to look out for that announcement. It'll be coming pretty soon, and we'll see what we can make happen. But I think that brings us to the end of another episode of Bourbon Beards and Belvederes, second episode of the second season. Who the fuck thought
this will be a third episode. We did that. We had the Silent Hero cigars that'll.
Oh,
unless we want.
Yeah. Okay,
we got that one.
Okay, it will be. Yeah, you're right. It will be the third episode by the time it drops. So, who the fuck thought we would be here? I certainly didn't when I started this damn thing.
We started this in. Oh, you started it in what? 23.
2023.
Yeah. 7/23. Jeez.
Yeah. Never thought that it would last. Here we are 2 years later. Started by myself, recorded the first episode. It was 15 minutes long, and I said, this ain't gonna work. Then I remembered that Paul and I had the conversation about starting a podcast similar to this probably 2 years prior to that. Got Paul on board. Then we grabbed Jerry, and here we are. And it's been a blast. It's always fun getting to get, if nothing else, it's fun to just sit around and bullshit with these guys, drink some whiskey, smoke some cigars, just whatever.
Learn about some great beard products that I probably would have never have found.
Right.
I'd probably still be stuck using, which nothing about them. But when I started this, I think, if I remember correctly, the local company around me and Badass Beard Co. No, I didn't even know about them. Badass Beard Co. I think were the two that were on my shelf. And nothing bad about those two guys because I still have their products on my shelf. But
oh yeah, Badass is good stuff.
Bay Area was one of the first ones that we did on here. Well, I did on here. Five Boroughs is another great one. EDC. He dropped out. Lee dropped out for a minute. He came back. He's coming back full force, putting out fantastic products. Lit Beard Co. I'm sure I would have found them eventually, but I was using products that worked for me. So why would I kind of change it up and find something like the Viking stuff that we tried that was shit? I'm not going to try to switch some things up, but for science in the show, I figured we could try some things and shit. Like we've done a little over 2 years of this, and I think that Viking Revolution, I think it was, or whatever that Chinese bullshit was the only terrible product. Obviously, everyone's face and beard is different, so the products over the years have worked better for me or Adam or Paul than the others, but they've all been fantastic products. And whether we've had them on the show or we've just talked to them on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, the people behind the brands are fantastic. Cigars, be on the lookout for this season. I've talked to a couple cigar companies that have decided they've wanted to come on. One of them I'm real excited about because I tried it for the first time during our fantasy draft, and it was a fantastic cigar. So looking forward to that. And got a couple whiskey companies coming on in the next couple months, hopefully.
Yeah, I just reached out to another. They had already agreed to come on, but I lost the guy's card. I was looking for it, and it's the Fire and Flask. They make this with purple corn. It's a veteran-owned company. I need to get samples out to you guys. Ryan actually signed the bottle for me. I got it at Total Wine. It was $100 for this 100 proof whiskey. Very going to be small batch, of course. This is. I mean, it's only aged a year and 1 month, but it is damn.
That looks dark as fuck.
It does. It is, and it is really fucking good. And this is his third batch. It's 75% corn, 15% rye, 10% malted barley, and he distilled and bottled at Second Sight Spirits in Ludlow, Kentucky.
One of the company. Well, one of my buddies, he's I don't know his actual title, but he's like a Southeast regional rep or something along those lines. He does the whole fucking Southeast area. But it is hunting season, so I will let him finish hunting out, and then I'll contact him again for a date. He's been in the woods, seems like, or at least getting ready for the woods last couple weeks, it seems like, and we'll be looking forward to that one. That's some fantastic products.
There's a lot of products out there that are great, and we're always excited to feature those, but we're always appreciative of those that are willing to come on and talk to us, because we're just three schlubs that like whiskey. They don't have to dedicate time to us to come on, and so we're always excited to have them on. We've had some great guests on this show. Two of my favorite were guys that are involved, but they're more celebrities than anybody. Tim Jones and Richard Landry. I mean,
those were fun episodes.
I still have the video recording of having Richard on, and I'll probably reach back out to him and see if I can get him on again, because he was just himself, and he absolutely is the guy in real life that he is on the TV show. He's that guy. He's that same guy. So, I'd love to get Richard and Craig, both of them on. I'm going to reach out and see if I can get them both on. We're always appreciative.
We need to reach out to Jerry and get him on and say fuck Mike.
I think Mike. I honestly think Mike, because I follow Mike on Facebook, and I honestly think that Mike views it as a business, but at the same time, I think Mike is playing a bit of a character, and Tim kind of alluded to that. Yeah. I think that there's a little bit of a rivalry there with Mike and everybody else, because he's trying to make money, but at the same time, I really think he's just kind of doing his thing and being a character for the show, as opposed to and I can say that simply because I met Mark and Digger right? And Digger wasn't. Digger wasn't. He wasn't an asshole or anything like that, but he was not. I always thought that Mark would be more standoffish than Digger, and that was absolutely not the case in real life. Digger was more standoffish. Mark, Mark was willing to sit and talk to me. He gave me a hug twice. He was the one that invited me to sit down with him. Digger was over at the other end of the table talking to the representatives that came with him from what's the name of that company? Sugarlands. But I think they all kind of take on a persona, like Jerry said, and I think that Mike does that. Jerry just seems like Jerry from the show. He seems like a genuine dude that and he's brilliant. Good God, the shit that he comes up with, the distillation equipment that he comes up with. I mean, he just seems like a mechanical genius to me. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll reach out to Jerry too and see if we can't get them on too. I'd love to have Mike on here too, just sit and talk to him. He seems like fun, seems like a guy I could sit down and have a beer with, even though he seems like his character at least seems like an asshole on the show. He seems like a guy I could sit down and have a beer with. Jerry seems like a guy I could sit down and enjoy a joint with. If you're so inclined to do so. He's just real laid back and cool. But at any rate, we're always appreciative. So anybody that's been on the show, if you're listening to us, we're highly appreciative of the fact that you've joined us on this show and given us your time. We're looking forward to more of the same and better in the second season. So thanks to everybody for joining us. We're glad to have you here. We're glad that you stuck around with us through the break. As always, make sure to support your veterans, local and foreign. Make sure to support your active duty members. My nephew is currently going through boot camp. I'm very, very proud of him. He just qualified as a sharpshooter in the Army. Nice. The kid's been through some shit in his life. He's 18 years old and he's been through some real shit in his life, his young life. And he chose as his path through life to go to Morehead State and get a degree in engineering and join the Army. He's currently working on both. He's in the Army. He's going to come back and finish up his degree and then go be an officer. Kid is brilliant, just brilliant. So make sure to support those guys. There's still a lot of people out there that are giving their all for us. Support your first responders, LEOs, firefighters. We got some good friends that are firefighters. They put their lives on the line for all of us here at home. And then you got your paramedics and things like that as well that are there to give us life support and get us to the hospital. And make sure to take care of children. The world's crazy. It didn't stop being crazy between our last season and this one. It seems to have gotten crazier. So let's make sure to support those that demographic as well. And until next week, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Bourbon Beards and Belvederes is produced by Adam Bolden, Paul Rousseau, and Jerry Ullman. Editing by Adam Bolden. Music by Ryan Johnson. You can find the links to all our social media accounts on our website at bourbonbeardsandbelvederes.com. As always, enjoy your bourbon and cigars responsibly. Cheers.